All right, good morning and welcome to today's bi-weekly Gentian updates. I'm Ken Flannery. You'll be hearing from some of the team today with Zach and Mike, and we'll also hear from Ashley as well, and also Jenny will be doing the happenings at the end as well. So I just want to welcome you all to a warm and steamy kickoff day to the second half of the year of 2023. Here we are. I'm sure a lot of you are coming off a nice 4th of July celebration. Lots to do, great weather. There was parades, there was fireworks, just the celebration itself, friends, family, maybe a 2-hour parade somewhere in there. I'm not quite sure. But again, lots of candy for the kids as well during the parade. So just wanted, however you were able to celebrate your 4th of July celebration, I think there was plenty to do and plenty to be had. So hopefully you had a nice 4th of July celebration. So as you know, we like to go big here at Gentian to begin our talks. And so we'll begin in gratitude. And so I'll go first. I'll actually talk a little bit about gratitude. Recently, I had a little time to reflect. I was able to do some junior achievements in 1st and 2nd grade. So I've gotten all my kids, all 4 of my kids now, I've done them all for their classes. And 1st and 2nd grade really teaches you the ability to keep things simple. It's good practice to do that. And so I started by going big, beginning gratitude, BIG. And so one of the classes towards the end of it, maybe the 4th or 5th class, one of the students, I forgot to go big. And so one of the students said, "Hey, Mr. Flannery, you forgot to go big." So I'm actually grateful for these little youngsters that are out there that are keeping us on our toes on the idea of gratitude and going big. So with that being said, I'll hand it over to Zach. And Zach, let's hear what you're grateful for.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. As always, many things to be grateful for. Really grateful for amazing friends and a beautiful weekend for celebrating Independence Day. But most importantly today, just extremely grateful to be on this journey with each of you. We've had the opportunity and the blessing to help quite a few people retire within the last couple of weeks. And it's just the biggest honor to have a very small part in that, and to hear the stories and also to see what's yet to come for all of retirement, whether it's the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, Lord willing, is just so humbling and so amazing to be part of. So we wish our most recent retirees extremely well heading into the next chapter here.
Thank you, Zach. Yeah, so some say, some look at retirement as the finish line, but really it's only the starting point of a lot of things to come. So glad for that. So Mike Mann, how about you? What are you grateful for?
Thanks, Ken. I'm just really grateful for this time of year in general. The 4th of July is such a wonderful holiday. It just really feels like it brings everybody together. I mean, you see all the negatives out there and so many people saying different things and different opinions about the United States of America. And yesterday is one of those days where we can all reflect on how great it is to actually live here and appreciate that. So I'm grateful for the 4th of July and proud to be an American.
Absolutely. That sounds good. Ashley, how about you?
Thank you, Ken, and good morning, everyone. I'm going to piggyback off of Mike and say I'm just grateful for the 4th of July. It's becoming one of my top holidays. I just enjoy dressing up. The kids love to get in their festive flair also. Go to a parade, see lots of friends and family, and just celebrate at the lake. There's nothing more American than that. So
fireworks in the lake for sure, and family and friends and the celebration. I agree. So we also have Michael Birschbach on the call here as well today. One of the newer members of our team here. So let's hear what Michael. What are you grateful for?
Thank you, Ken. To kind of echo everybody, I'm just grateful for friends and family. Had a great weekend back home. My friend puts on it's the 2nd annual this year, a golf outing. So a lot of hometown friends, people I get to see probably once a year and catch up. And it's just crazy how fast life moves. So just grateful for a good weekend and feeling refreshed back here.
Absolutely, Michael. Thanks for sharing. We appreciate it. Yeah, when we talk about retirees, one of the things, we read a book recently about this, and one of the things is connecting with old friends. So here you go. So that's a good example of something like that as well. So okay, so that sounds good. So with the spirit of American, Independence Day, baseball, I heard a little factoid here I'd like to share it with you. It's America's pastime, right? We have to bring that up. And when you look at this, there's a pitch clock that came into effect in 2023. And it's kind of speeds up the game. So the average game is 27 minutes shorter this year than it has been since 1984. So it is speeding things up. I just wonder how many less hot dogs are consumed during that time frame, but it does speed up the enjoyment of the game. So with that being said, I was talking to Zach recently, and I asked him what his favorite part of 4th of July festivities were, and he said it has to be the independent dance that he does during the festival. So I have to throw a dad joke in there. So with that being said, I'm actually going to pass it over to Zach DeBoer. Give us an update on the market. Zach's facts. Give us an update on the markets and what's happening.
Thank you, Ken. If anyone knows me, they know that dancing is not part of my purvey. So, but with the talk about the 4th of July, it really reminded me of one of my favorite quotes that I heard one day on a Memorial Day parade, and it was, "Let us not focus on what temporarily divides us, but rather what permanently unites us." And that's a beautiful thing about the 4th of July, and also not just about our country, but our team, our friends, our family. Instead of focusing on our differences, focusing on the things that we really love and care about each other. But going into markets a little bit, just like we normally do, just kind of run through the year-to-date returns, if you will, and where we're at. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up about 3.8% on the year. The S&P 500 is actually up 16% and is only 7% off of last January of 2022's highs, which is really incredible to see. We had one of the toughest calendar returning years since 1974. There was only 4 calendar year returns since 1974 as tough as last year, and a massive rebound to start this year. And Mike, how many companies accounted for how much return so far this year?
No, absolutely, Zach. So through the end of May, I don't have June's numbers, but through the end of May, it was 7 stocks can be looked at for accounting for that entire return. In fact, if you take the remaining 493 stocks in the S&P 500, their average return is negative 0.25% year to date. So it's definitely been pushed forward by just some big names, quality companies. And like I said, 7 stocks.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Just absolutely fascinating. Mike shared with me earlier, and it was just amazing to look at a reminder of never to guess or never assume what's ahead for the markets. If we looked at January 1 of this year, we would not have assumed a 16% return halfway through the year. Every single economist or market strategist we heard is it's going to be another tough year. It might be up slightly halfway through the year, a bunch of different thoughts and ideas, and yet 16% driven by 7 companies. It's a massive opportunity for the other 493 to catch up and get their earnings in line as well. So thank you, Mike. The NASDAQ, which is 50% weighted towards technology, is actually up 32% on the year. International, closer to 8%. Emerging markets still lagging behind after a great end of 2022 fourth quarter at about 4.6% positive on the year. Pretty amazing thing to look at too over the last month. The Russell 2000, which is small size companies, is up 5 to 6% over a 1-month time frame. So it just goes to show the beauty of different asset classes, and continually reminded how amazing rebalancing is. On the fixed income side of things, we always just like to touch on with the buzz around interest rates and others. The 1-year Treasury is still 5.25%. The 5-year is around 4%. And the 10-year is 3.7. So just a reminder that if you haven't looked at strategies for kind of that emergency funds or the excess savings that we have in our banks right now, phenomenal time to reach out to your bank to see the opportunities that they have, or to reach out to us. And a reminder to try to keep things on the shorter end of things. We wouldn't want to extend out 10 years, 5 years. We want to keep things really 12 months, 18 months kind of max. But let us know if that is a strategy for you. Just a few interesting facts before I hand it back to the rest of the team here. Heard that there's still a lot of cash and money market balances right now, actually the record highs. And I spoke to someone in the commercial real estate business yesterday who's on the actuarial side of things, and said that private equity is sitting on the most amount of money that they've ever had, and are just scooping up businesses at a rapid rate. So what that means and what that looks for moving forward, not exactly sure, but just really amazing to see. And we've also heard from some of our real estate people that we talk to, is that the real estate market hasn't really slowed down. If you yourself or your kids have been looking for a home, there's still a massive amount of offers, cash offers above asking with no inspection. And it's just interesting to see, and just a reminder of, again, looking at assumptions. Everyone said that when interest rates increased, and housing prices and everything would lower and the demand would go down, and that still hasn't really occurred. So just interesting to see all those kind of different factors. With that, Ken, I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Zach. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna pivot here. Just I know Jenny's on the call. We need to go big with her, if that's okay. She's good to go now. So we do have to bring her into the mix. We're a team, so we want to hear from Jenny to see what your go big is, Jenny, if that's okay.
Oh, thanks, Ken. I was feeling very loud. I mean, my go big is just the fact that we had a great 4th of July weekend. We spent time in a pool, time in a lake. We don't have a pool, we don't live on a lake, but we had a lot of great invites from really fantastic people that included us in their celebrations, which was really fun. But I'm very grateful that I'm not going to be eating tons of potato chips and brownies and everything today. So all the good food was fantastic and just time well spent.
Yeah, that's great, Jenny. Yeah, I think today we all start the cleanse again, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So thanks for sharing, Jenny. We appreciate that. Was Zach's point here. I mean, it's really remarkable to see what the markets are doing. This is a great time, a great learning lesson for all of us to say that we never know what the markets are going to do. Last year, tough year in the markets. So like Zach said, one of the hardest we've seen in a long time. And yet here we are with having the rebound that not a lot of people expected. I mean, if you look at the economists, you read what was out there, it was pretty negative. And yet here we are. So the annual end of the world has been postponed again. It's not happening, at least not this year so far. But there's a lot being said with the markets, with what the Federal Reserve is doing. Maybe Mike will touch on that here in a bit as well. But you look at inflation, still a long ways to go from the Fed target rate of 2%. That's really what they're trying to target. And so again, a lot of room to go there. But again, it seems like it's been moderated in some categories according to the government. So, but as you know, you grocery shop, things are still expensive. So not everything feels like it's moderating. Some things still feel like it's accelerating. Depends on what we're buying in our life at the time. So even across the pond in the United Kingdom, UK, I mean, still you're seeing inflation of 8.7% being reported there. Interest rate hikes, 13 continuous ones there. So again, you're starting to see this happen around the globe here as well. Earnings down a little bit for the first half of the year. But again, kind of stabilizing here, and some of the great companies are really leading the way as we kind of expected, actually. So the default, everyone talked about the debt ceiling. The default didn't happen. I know it's a topic of conversation, but it didn't happen, so that's good. The dollar, everyone talks about the strength of the dollar, the weakness of the dollar. We think with inflation, the dollar probably should be a little weaker than what it is now. But when you take a look at where the dollar and the strength of it is, it's about where it was about a year ago. So no significant changes so far in that piece of that piece. The banking system, a lot of people thought contagion was going to go on as far as, we saw some of the bigger banks, Silicon Valley Bank fail. First Republic came after that. We thought there was going to be contagion. Maybe there will be. We haven't seen much as of right now. We're keeping an eye on that piece. But again, some of the things that a lot of people thought were going to happen actually didn't happen. And so that's one more reason just to stay the plan, stay the course. I know we talk about it a lot. You've heard us talk about it so much, you probably know what we're going to say already. But it's really, really important to stay the course and stay the plan, because years like this, we can't miss out on these years when we have these rebounds, because it's detrimental to your money, it's detrimental to your wealth, and sometimes it actually prevents people from actually retiring when they want to. So we have to keep that in mind as well. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Mike Mann for Mike's couple minutes. And Mike, what have you been working on recently, or what have you been hearing recently?
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, so last week I had the privilege of attending one of the coolest financial forums that I've really been able to. First Trustic gave a presentation, and they had their CEO, their chief investment officer, and also their chief economist, who is none other than Brian Westbury, present and give us a gloomy outlook. So it's been fun to hear some of that stuff, but it's another thing that we continue to listen to, and this is what we hear. Because at the end of the day, and this is a Chris Doty quote, we expect the worst, but hope for the best. So that's what we're planning for, right? We're always planning for that. We're always going to bring, the best case scenarios. We're going to be optimists. It's always fun when the optimists are right. And at the end of the day, listening to optimists on a daily basis, you think about that, it just kind of lifts you up a little bit. Anytime you get caught up in the noise and hear what's going to happen and what could happen, it seems to have a negative effect on just your everyday life. So why would you even want to go there when you're out, when you can't control what's about to happen? So that being said, we had a great presentation last week I got to attend. Jim Bowen, he's their CEO. He is one of the most electric speakers I've ever listened to. He could have you running through a wall. He's a very much straightforward, give me the data kind of guy. And he shared some really, really cool things about the US economy and talking about just the United States in general and why, and listening to this, I'm always perplexed by how surprised people are at the resiliency of the United States economy. Everybody's always expecting this recession, this recession, this recession. Well, it's going to happen, but why is everybody so surprised that the greatest country in the world can withstand some of the things that it truly has? And one of the cool stats that they shared is what private companies are able to do here. We're talking about SpaceX, and Elon Musk in March sent 2 rockets into space on the same day, 4 hours apart. I don't think anybody truly grasps how often they're doing this. They are literally landing that same rocket on a drone ship in the Gulf of Mexico and in the desert somewhere in the desert. So they're doing this on a regular basis, putting up Starlink. And what's Starlink accomplishing? Through a means like Twitter, Elon Musk was able to give Ukraine 272,000 people in Ukraine now have internet because of Starlink. How did he know that they had the need for it? Well, the president reached out to him through Twitter, literally tweeted at him. He's like, I'm on it. Put him up. They sent him, they shipped all the satellites, everything they needed, and we're able to give internet. So that's the age that we're living in. And it's so cool to see that and see these companies innovate. And some of the biggest leaders in these industries invest their money back into that. So there's something to be hopeful when we're talking about the United States government. That being said, the chief economist, Brian Wesbury, he's thinking that the next 12 to 24 months could be tough sledding. Now, they've been saying that for the last 12 to 24 months. So there is nothing new here with this outlook. But what they're thinking right now is that the fiscal stimulus and all that saving that people were able to do during COVID that was unexpected, that is all starting to be spent. Now, Zach talked about, the money markets being at all-time highs, the investment, like the ability to put money into that and just how attractive they truly are. Well, there still has been spending, and that spending is getting gobbled up by the GDP. And at some point that spending is going to have to subsidize, because you're going to need to hang on to that money to be, to just continue to stay afloat, as an individual who's living in this economy. And so when that happens, they expect corporate profits to fall back. Now, that also being said, the last 9 quarters were the most profitable quarters in the history of the United States. So when you talk about what's driving this, how we're able to get through this inflation and the way that we think about these things, there's a lot of things that you can focus on, and you can talk about things being negative with the fiscal stimulus, the idea that, that has created inflation. There's been a lot of other factors that added to it. Some of the other things that are going on out in the environment. But when you truly take a look and just peel back the curtain and look at the data of what the United States of America truly is, it's exciting to be a part of this, and we're going to continue to stay invested in it. So thank you, Ken.
Mike, thank you very much for that download from First Trust. It's been fantastic. A lot of good information there from Brian Wesbury as well. So someone we do read on a regular basis. So that's fantastic. So with that being said, hey, I'm gonna pass it over to we need to come up with a name for Ashley here for her portion. I've been working on this a little bit. I think it's Ashley's acumen of financials. I think it maybe something like Ashley's acumen, something with that. So with that being said, I'll hand it over to Ashley. And Ashley, what can we do to save a few dollars here and there?
Thank you, Ken. Today, I have a couple of ideas. So if you were at all an entertainer this weekend, coming off of a holiday weekend, you might want to give yourself a break. So you're looking maybe to be going out for dinner or something in those lines. And I just have a couple of tips in order to save some money while you dine out this week and beyond. So not ordering a drink. I know it's a tough one, especially when you go out. It's nice to have a drink, something refreshing, something new, something that the restaurant is used to. But you can order that drink if maybe you go during happy hour. So down the list is going out to eat during happy hour. Instead of going out to dinner and paying those full prices, lots of places, including your favorite restaurants, offer happy hours for drinks, sitting at the bar, half price appetizers, even half price dinner or entree options. The smaller portions also cut down on calories. So I know somebody, and our team's probably thinking, hey, I need to, watch what I eat for a couple of days coming off that long holiday weekend. So again, cutting down on certain options, including full entrees. And sharing meals is also just a huge calorie saver as well as a money saver. Also a great way to try different things if you're maybe nervous about ordering it for an entree yourself. You can share the meal and get a piece of it and try it. Skipping dessert. This is a personal hard one for me because I love a good sweet thing after dining out, and they have such good things that I would never maybe make at home, but maybe skipping it once in a while or just having it on occasion can save you some money. Ordering an appetizer as your meal, again, those smaller portions, smaller options, as well as cheaper prices can help you cut down on your bill at the end of your restaurant experience. Limiting the number of times you go out. So if you add up how many times you've gone out, let's say in the last week, maybe cut down one of those one time a week and see where you end up. It also just creates more time at home, more ideas to get creative and cooking at home. So here's just a few ideas to cut down on your money that you're spending while dining out. Back to you, Ken.
Ashley, that was some great acumen from you. We appreciate that. That was really, really good. Hopefully it gives everyone, all the listeners, some, all of our clients, some ideas on how to save some money and if they maybe think about things a little differently as well. So when you take a look at that, when we talk about Planet, I can't really introduce my own segment. That's kind of strange, right? So when we talk about the planning side of Genti, we are Planet, Live It, Give It, and we could also incorporate Inherited in there as well at some point. When we talk about the Planet side, what we're seeing right now, I just literally took a phone call this morning from a young investor. Thank you for your introductions, by the way, to your kids and grandkids. We appreciate that more than we probably tell you, because they're just getting started. You're on the other end of it where your money is in a good spot. Your income is in a good spot. So that's a little different mindset there. But when they're first starting, you as grandparents, you as parents have the most influence on them, probably more than because they're looking to you to say, hey, how did you do that? And they want to do the same thing. And we always tell people start earlier. And here we are, fielding phone calls and helping these young 20-some-year-old clients out, which are your grandchildren and family members. So we appreciate that. So again, have them go a little higher for savings. If they're going to do 6, push them to do 8. If they're going to do 8, do 10. Push them a little bit harder right away, because they'll get used to that feeling of saving money like that. It'll become an everyday thing. When we're getting used to saving, 6%, but all of a sudden we're asked to go to 8 or 9 or 10, that means less money in our pockets to do the things that we're used to doing at that point in time, which becomes harder at that point in time. So the easier we can make it from the beginning is really the goal for young investors and for themselves and for you that are listening right now. So I would say that as well. If you have any questions on that, we certainly will help family members out. Let us know. Big or small questions, we stand ready to help you guys out. So Michael Berschbach is on the call. He's a newer team member for us, and I know he's here, so I'd like him to say a few things if that's okay with you, Michael. We always come up with these names of these segments that people talk about, and I was thinking about this, Berschbach, like with the last name. So is this some sort of like Bach Symphony of Financials or something like that? I don't know, but maybe that's a stretch. But hey, Michael, do you have anything that you'd like to share as well?
We'll have to go back to the drawing board for the name of the segment, but I don't have anything there either. So
yeah, I thought that was pretty good, Michael. I don't know. Okay.
But today I just wanted to talk about some estate planning tips, a little bit outside the box. Still in the planning world though. But we have a lot of clients that collect different things, whether that's sports memorabilia, stamps, cars, or just other collections that are meaningful to them. But a lot of them forget to put that sort of stuff actually in their estate plan. So just have some ideas around that. And they really give it in 2 steps, but creating an inventory and keeping it up to date. I like to use Excel spreadsheets. Some people would like to write it down, but just putting a lot of detail in there, whether that's valuation, certificates of authenticity, or where it's even located. But also taking that a step further, coordinating that with your executor or your attorney and how they can get to this inventory. And the second half of that is really helping your inheritors or loved ones know where to go if they want to sell, or in some cases, who or where not to sell them. I have a funny example of this. My grandpa passed away about 5 years ago, and on my dad's side of the family, he had 5 siblings. And as they were cleaning out and going through his stuff in his house, they found a ripped up piece of notebook paper, and on it said, "Do not sell the woods or any of the land to Boopsie," which I don't even know who Boopsie is, but all the siblings at least agreed to honor that. But a lot of coins, stamps, sports memorabilia, just anything in the collection is pretty easy to sell to the right collectors. But generally, people in this business have a good idea of what stuff is worth, and they know there's a reason that they are in business, right? But another thing to consider is that valuations for these collectible items are subject to market forces just like any other investment. So depending on when they get it or the value of it when you had it and when they try to sell it, there can be a lot of variables that go into that where you might not exactly know what it's worth. So just something to keep in mind as an inheritor as well too. And back to you, Ken.
Yeah, Michael, we certainly appreciate that. It's good perspective on things that people collect and making sure that, it does fit into their overall planning that they're doing. So we appreciate that perspective. Thank you, Michael. Welcome to the webinar. That was great. That was wonderful to have you today. So, when we talk about we talked about the planet part, the livid part. Here's something that came up recently, and it's talking about your strengths, talking about, what are you good at? What's your unique ability? What is it? Sometimes we think, an interesting way to do this would be to write down what you think your strengths are. So that would be an interesting exercise. Maybe the top 2 or 3 strengths are what you think your unique ability is. So write those down on a piece of paper, and then talk to the people around you that know you the best. Maybe it's a spouse, significant other, family member, friends that you think know you, and see what they say that your strengths are, and see if they match up. Sometimes there might be a little bit of a disconnect there. It's thinking, hey, I think I'm really good at this, but people perceive me to be really good at that. And so that would be an interesting exercise to go through, because what it might do just from a confidence standpoint, because you think about this, as we age, not a lot of people in our lives tell us, hey, you're good at this, or you're good job on that, or, we kind of lose that aspect as we age a little bit. Because if you think about when parenting was happening, how many times do we tell our kids, great job, hey, way to go, you're really good at this, you're really good at that, hey, maybe we could improve over here, maybe we could work on that piece, right? There's a lot of affirmation and confirmation going on with children, but as we age, we don't necessarily get that, but yet we're still people that probably need some of that from time to time. And maybe that could strike some confidence in you, or maybe you didn't realize that people view you to have a wonderful strength that now you're like, wow, well, maybe that's what I am good at. And maybe I can go help people. Maybe I can help something, or help a cause, help a family member, that maybe you have a strength that could do that. So just wanted to bring that to your attention about what lies within inside of you, because there's probably greatness that is there. Some has already come out. Some could actually still come out probably. And so we wanted to just make that an exercise, if you could, to talk about strengths. So what I'd like to do now to finish up the webinar today is hand it over to Jenny, and she's going to tell us about the Gentian happenings that are happening this month. So Jenny.
Yes, absolutely. We're just kicking off the month of July. So we actually, excuse me, do have a lot coming up. July 12th, so next week, we have our book club recap. And I see a few people on this call that do attend the book club. So you should be receiving your daily challenges each day. And putting those into practice, hopefully. So on the 12th, we'll get together to share stories of how the practices from the book have gone. July 15th, we want to wish Lisa a happy birthday. July 16th is our big concert. So we have Rise and Shine Sunday in the Park with Kane. They're a sibling trio of Christian music. And we have been working really hard to put on a great spread and event for you guys. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. July 19th, same place, same time, we have another webinar and our birthday club. So if you haven't RSVP'd for that, do so. If you can't make this month, you can join for next month, or if you couldn't make previous month, you can come for this month too. So just drop us a note. Let's see, the 26th, we've got Ladies and Gentian. So ladies, if you've joined or if you haven't, this one will be a virtual craft. So I'm going to leave a little bit of mystery in it, but once you RSVP, you'll receive all the materials to complete this virtual craft with our Gentian ladies in the mail. So that's always a really fun get together. And then last but not least, we'll close out the month with our Learning to Serve You Better Day on July 31st. So our offices will be closed. This is just a great opportunity for our team to connect, download on recently attended educational events, talk about best practices, and learning from other offices so that we can deliver the best service for you guys. So yeah, and then we'll kick right off into August, which we will watch your bulletins for the upcoming events there. And that's it.
Well, thank you, Jenny. We appreciate it. And we appreciate all that you and Ashley and the rest of the team do on that end of things, the coordinating events, because it's one of our favorite things to do. We love planning it with you. We love planning your retirement. We love working with you. We love figuring that stuff out. We love helping you live your best life in retirement. We also love seeing you in a social environment as well. You know, there's a lot of great conversations that happen. It's one of the things that we look forward to as a team here at Gentian. So thank you very much for all the hard work that our team does to bring us all together on that piece. So I just want to say thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate all of you that are on the call today, and those who watch it and those who even don't watch it. We appreciate you. And we want to make sure that you understand that we're here to help you plan your retirement, live your best life in retirement, give the way you want to give, whether it's time and resources, and also inherit it as well. I know it's a piece that, I know it's not part of the tagline, but it is a big piece of what we help people with when it comes to their planning. So just want to say thank you all to your contribution today on the call for all the team members. We appreciate your contribution. Thank you for your time. So we just want to say thank you. Have a great day, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye-bye.